Islam.
Islam.
I rise, giving all praises to the great God Allah, the Father of the universe, cherisher and sustainer of all the boundless universes. We extend the highest of honors to His holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, a savior of humanity. Islam. We extend high honors as well to his forerunner, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, who did indeed warn and stir up the nations. Islam. We extend high honors to the Moorish flag, the red flag with the green 5-pointed star in the center. These 5 points represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These are the 5 highest principles known to man. Islam. We also give honors to the American flag, also known as the Stars and Stripes. Why? Because this flag exists as a constant reminder that the European nations owe you, the Moors, with compound interest. Islam. Giving honors to the noble Sheik staff and noble Vanguard staff who keep the peace. And last but not least, we give honors to you, the ills and babes, for without you, there is no Moorish movement. Islam. How's everyone on this most high and holy day? Who are we here to honor today? I don't believe it. Let's try that again. Who are we here to honor today? Who? Who? Who is Prophet Noble Drew Ali? See, we have all these fezzes, turbans, and beautiful holy garments, so on and so forth. Islam? In fact, so much so that if I didn't ask you your nationality, you would appear to be one nation.
That's right.
Right? And it appears to be that because that is indeed what it is.
Come on now.
Despite your custom.
That's right.
You see, some of us say, Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
Meaning, peace be upon you.
Yes, sir.
Right? And if you really speak the languages, peace be upon you all. Right? All right? And some might say shalom, meaning peace. Some might say hotep. Some might say alafia. All right? Various different words for peace. Why? Because being the oldest people on the planet, we know what warfare does.
Come on.
There's thousands and thousands of words for peace in our languages.
That's
right? Because we know what animosity and strife can do.
That's right.
Even if you didn't know who the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was, and someone offered you an invitation to this particular setting, and you accepted because even on a subconscious level, you know that this stuff that's going on outside them doors is not the way.
That's
Islam.
right.
All right? So we invite you, first we welcome you all to come, right? To learn about this man we love so much.
That's right.
You see?
That's right.
This young man right here, this is my son. Right? If one would ask me, how do I know that the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali are right and exact? How do I know that the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali are true and that they work? Right? My son, he might look like he's about 30 years old. The man's 21. Okay? Now, if you're in them streets like I am, with our young brothers, what does the average 21-year-old look like? What is the average respect to the 21-year-olds? I mean, they having fun, right? All right? But the point is that what are they up to? What do they look like? Do they have a nation-building mindset? Do they have a do-for-self mindset?
Come on.
Do they know to respect the woman because the woman is his mother?
Right.
Even if whether it's you call her wife, whether you call her sister, whether you call her daughter, that's mother.
Right.
So the things that you do to sister, girlfriend, even though, adult people don't do girlfriends, right?
Right.
Allah says, take unto thyself a... I ain't reading your lessons. Take unto thyself a what?
Right.
That's what I thought it said. All right? But the things that we're doing to these sisters are the things that we're doing to our mothers. But see, a civilized people would know that.
That's right.
Back to the 21-year-olds, right? If a man has never been taught, he won't know any better.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
This man who we love so much, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, this man stood up in a time, right, when men were just shaking off the aspect of being called the N-word daily.
That's right.
When you were looked at as an article of property.
That's right.
When you were looked at as having no worth. And if you didn't have any worth by the ones that were mistreating you, how could you have any self-worth?
That's right.
Islam?
Islam.
Someone actually owned our forefathers. Right?
That's right.
Now that's a side that we all know. They beat that into us, right? We know that side, right?
That's right.
But what they don't tell you is that on the other side of 1774, you owned their forefathers.
That's right. That's right.
They don't tell you that. Fuck, I see some pens and some papers. Please write this book down. I don't want you to believe nothing I'm saying, right? There's a book called The Slave Community, written by a man named John Blassingame. Go to chapter 2 in that book. It's called The Americanization of the South. In that book, they give the whole demonstration about how the Muslims of Northwest Africa enslaved the peoples of England, France, Scotland, Iceland, Scandinavia. Do I need to go to the map? Y'all know where those places at? Y'all people were taking, your forefathers was taking slaves all up in here before these particular nations had names.
That's right.
See, back during that time, there was no France. They were barbaric tribes.
That's right.
There was no Spain. It was called the Iberian Peninsula. They were barbaric tribes.
That's right.
Called the Visigoths.
That's right.
Islam?
Yes, sir.
All the way up here, Greenland, Iceland. Your forefathers controlled the seas.
Islam.
Right?
That's
We
right.
say that, right? We say that, oh, we're the oldest people on the planet. We own every square inch of it. And if you own every square inch of it, you're supposed to know every square inch of it. True?
Come on now.
If that's the case, shouldn't be no hidden history to you.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But part of that hidden history is thinking that you're the slave, when in fact, the word slave is not even a word that deals with you. It means Slavic, deals with Eastern Europeans.
Look at that.
Now, how could that exist if you were the original slave?
Yes.
Right? So a man came in 1913 to tell you, no, you're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian. Right? And you know that term Ethiopian might be a stickler because some of us identify with that, but even that word is Greek from Ethiopians. That's not ours. We would say Abyssinia or Habashir. If you really want to talk about it. Right? See, if you're sincere about the salvation of your people, you'll study things all the way out.
All the way out.
Right?
That's
Wherever that path of truth takes you, you will go.
That's right.
You won't stop just because it hinders your sensibilities. Islam? Right? A lot of our people, we're just coming out of the European holiday season, true?
Yes, we are.
Right? And I'm hitting all these points. It's going to tie a wrist. Tie that. This is not an audience I have to dumb down for.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We're coming out of the holiday season, and some of us might have visited our families' our homes. True? Right? And when you went there, now this is 2018, 2017 going into 2018. And when you went there, there was probably a cutoff tree with some colorful balls on it. I'm saying that to keep it in the high. With tinsel and a 5-pointed star on the top. A 5-pointed star on the top. A 5-pointed star on the
That's
top.
right.
Okay? But the point is that we celebrate these things, right? With no thought. This is just something that we do. That's called a program,
Yeah.
right? A program is something that's set in you, and you do without even giving thought to it.
That's right.
Right? See, the free people in this room right now, you know yourself to be free because when you go to make a decision, you have to actually, it's a thought process. Right? You go to get something to eat, you get that, you feel that little burn in your stomach. You don't just go get something to eat.
That's right.
You process, well, what's around here?
That's right.
Okay? Pressure was a little up, I might not want to eat this.
That's right.
I might not want to drink that. It says water,
Right.
but when I open it, it pops like a Coca-Cola. Made by a brand called Dasani, and if you look at it, it says by Coca-Cola.
That's right. Yes, it does.
Islam? So there's a thinking process that goes with it, right? But in order to learn how to think, you got to be taught how to think, right? Who's going to teach you how to be free? Whoever that one is that teaches you to how to be free has to love you.
That's right.
You see, like we talked about Islam earlier, right? And it talks about, when you do the history of Islam in America, they'll say that the oldest group of Islamic people in this country, they'll say, because they lied to us, right? They say our group of people called the Ahmadiyya, right? And they say the Ahmadiyya are from a man named Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who's from India, right? Yeah, he was here, right? But guess who he wasn't trying to teach? He wasn't trying to teach you anything.
Demonstrate, right.
How many foreign Muslims have come to these shores and cared nothing about your condition?
That's right.
You know why?
Demonstrate.
And I'm gonna say this word, because the children they're hearing it anyway, right? An Indian can't teach you because an Indian doesn't know what nigger means.
That's right.
A West African, Senegalese, man, that's our family. But they can't come and free you and teach you because they don't know the gravity of what that means.
That's right.
I have my father's birth certificate in the car. My father was born in 1923. On his birth certificate, it says Negro. Do you know what a Negro is? If you go back to the Greek word necro,
That's right.
it means dead.
That's right.
They labeled my father dead from birth.
That's right. That's right.
So somebody coming to unplug you from that would have to love you.
That's right.
They would have to care about you. See, I'm going to tell you who's the head of this movement.
Go ahead.
See, right here, we call this the vacant chair.
Yes, sir.
Right? In every lawful temple, there should be set up a vacant chair. You go to chapter 19 of the Holy Quran, the more science temple of America. Right? It'll give you the degree of the vacant chair. This symbolizes the fact that the prophet is still the head of the movement. Right? Because what he brought and what he demonstrated are immutable principles. That means they do not change and they are not measured up by time.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali has a lot of children. If you look on the wall over here to my right, right? You see various different faces of different Moorish Americans throughout the annals of history. Right? Take a step forward. If I were to go here, right? This was around like 1934, 35. You go look at the cars in the back, you see the old style cars, Model T Fords and things, right? This is 1934. Look at all them Asiatic people standing together.
That's right.
With holy garments on. That looks just like before we came in contact with the Europeans and started losing them wars. Islam? But if you look at the pictures, the Prophet put us in a sense just like before the European conquered us. Right?
Yes, sir.
If I go forward, over here. All right, brother? All right. You know, people get nervous from standing. This right here is a group of people who were students of our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And, well, you know, that particular student, whose name was John Gibbons-El.
Islam.
We give honors to John Gibbons-El. Islam. John Gibbons-El was the chauffeur of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What does that mean? That means that when he was going around, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when he was alive, he set up 15 temples in his lifetime. Right? That means he was traveling around the country to do this. Now remember, in 1928, there was no international highways. Those didn't get set up to 1933. Right? So what you know now is 75, 85 north, 285, all that was non-existent. So to go around the country and set up temples, you had to get in a Model T type Ford.
That's right.
With them joints, you know, a lot of them, you know, you had to get on the outside of the car and crank it from the front. With a crank. Islam? Power steering. I'm 45. I remember when it wasn't power steering.
That's right.
Islam? All right? Wasn't no shocks. You and that boy like this. Traveling around the country. Islam? Tell me this man didn't have a love for his people to go around in that condition.
That's right.
To wake these people up. Are people, by the way, who don't want to hear what you got to say.
That's right.
When you talk about the Moors, the Prophet said the Moors are hard-headed, stiff-necked people that never did anything except by point of a sword.
Demonstrate, Sheik.
How many of our people in here really love our people?
That's right. Got it.
Right? Keep your hands up. How many people you actually did plead with our people to do better? And what kind of responses do you get? You know, in the church they have a phrase that says, tell the truth and shame the devil. Right? Let's tell the truth and shame the devil a little bit, right? How many historians in the room? Ain't no sister historians, really. You know, sisters be like, you know, never reveal yourself. Right? For all my fellow historians, male and female, man and woman, created he them. Right? When you research the annals of history, who are the prophet killers? Now see, I said tell the truth and shame the devil. Y'all mama. Who are the ones that kill the prophets? We kill our prophets. Who are the ones that disrespect the prophets? Who are the ones that set up the prophets? Who are the ones that come in as pretending wise and think they're wiser than the prophets? It's us. But yet these men have that divine spark from Allah, most glorified and exalted, to say, you know what? I'll give my life as a willing sacrifice for men.
That's right.
Are you willing to do that? See, you might have a fez on your head. You might have the prophets Il and Bay attached to your name. You might have the religion of Islam or Islamism. You might have his Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You may have all that, but if you're not willing to do his work,
That's right. Demonstrate, Sheik.
Islam? Islam. See, they tell a story about the brother Jesus when he was, they put the cross on him after they scourged him and beat him, right? And he was on his way to a place called Golgotha, which was the place of what? The place of skulls, right? Place of death, right? And he was walking, he collapsed under the burden of the weight and the pain and the torment or whatever. And they said it was a brother named Simon of Cyrene. That's right. Simon of Cyrene, who looked and saw this Messiah, who he knew was a good man, because he followed his works all around. He said, you know what? Let me help this brother. Let me help him carry this cross and shoulder his burden to Golgotha. Right? Let me ask right now, how many people, you don't even have to be in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? For what I'm about to say, right? But if you know, if I'm describing Prophet Noble Drew, right, as one who stood up for our people, right? He told them to return the church and Christianity back to the European nations because it was formed for their earthly salvation. He was the first one that told us that. Didn't nobody else tell us that. Everybody else putting band-aids on the wound. My forefathers in my particular bloodline go back to what is known as the African United Methodist Protestant Church, the African Methodist Church. Right? My great-grandfather was a bishop in the African Methodist Church. Back in them days, that's what you had to be because wasn't nobody else coming bringing us nothing else. You thought you had to complain. They broke off from the Methodist Church because they were part of the church, but they couldn't vote in the church. They didn't have no rights in the church. They'd be in the church, and the European come in to get up out the seat. N-word. Go sit up in that balcony up there. And as a member, tithe-paying, dues-paying member of the church, you have to get up and go do that. And the first one that broke away in that particular demonstration, a brother named Peter Spencer in Delaware, like in 1813, 100 years before Noble Drew. Right? But he broke away, all right, and formed an African church. Right? And what they started doing was, on that demonstration, when they filled out the census reports, they wouldn't put Negro, they wouldn't put black, they wouldn't put color, they would put African. That's right. It was a step in the right direction, but African is still not specific. Because when you meet Africans, do they tell you they're African, or does it sound Senegalese? That's right. I'm Ghanaian. That's right. I'm Egyptian. That's right. Demonstrate more. He don't play ambiguity, because ambiguity gets you killed. That's right. There's a group of people called the Armenians. Research this, the Armenian genocide. Right? There's a movie, I think it's called Promise. And in this movie, the European, what's his name, Christian Bale. They were demonstrating how inside the Ottoman Empire, right, the Ottoman Turks, they had a massive empire. An empire is when, a nation's influence is being felt on more than one land at once. America right now is an empire. Wherever they plant their flag, that's American soil. Military bases, so on and so forth. This is American soil. Islam? In the Ottoman Empire, they encompass many different nations. Now, the only thing the Ottomans asked, you must call yourself Turkish. Right. The Armenians said, no, we're not Turkish, we're Armenian. They said, you sure about that? Right? See, Prophet Noble Drew gives us a message. He says that those who fail to proclaim their nationality are subject to all the mistreatments and abuses that the lawful citizens care to bestow. That's right. Right? We watch the police shootings of our people. I've seen sisters on video beat on the side of the road by police officers, and nothing happened. I've seen fathers choked out on sidewalks and dying on concrete, and nothing happens, right? And it ain't no strange happening. It's not strange. It's not a coincidence. That the same people, us that dying in that condition, we also call ourselves Christian. We also are bearing the last names of somebody else. That's right. But we free, but your last name is Williams. Exactly. You free, but your last name is John's son. Culpepper. That's right. Baker. Yeah. Named after everything in creation, but not the creator. That's right. That's right. See, I thought you were an angelic people. And if you were an angelic people, you should have angelic names. That's right. You should have righteous names. Righteous, holy names. Islam? That's the thing, you've forgotten to be holy. You forgot that you were supposed to be that because you think you can be everything that everybody else is. That's right. That's what you believe. That's right. But belief, Noble Drew teach us, is that which man thinks perhaps might be the truth. I can believe I got a full tank of gas. But if the gauge is on E, I might have to wear these shoes out a little bit. Get to the gas station. But if I put a little gas and fill it up by halfway, I put a little faith in it. Islam? Now, if I'm on full tank, I'm going to reach fruition. I'm God right now. Go out and drive it. Islam? But belief, we never came out of the stage of belief because of chattel slavery, because we didn't listen to the masters that came to us.
That's right.
Right? And see, as Moorish American masters, see, we know the history. Right? So we know the history of, when we say Noble Drew Ali, we hear Marcus Garvey. It's the same thing. You can't separate them brothers.
Demonstrate.
Right? When you mention the Honorable Marcus Garvey and you mention the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I hear Master Farah Muhammad.
Demonstrate.
I said it. I'm looking at the cameras. I said that.
Demonstrate, Sheik.
Right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Demonstrate, man.
We hear him with Noble Drew Ali. We hear him with Marcus Garvey.
Absolutely.
You're not going to separate our forefathers. Stop letting them Europeans play the game. Right? I'm not here to play tonight. Because I'm here to talk about a man that I love.
That's right.
Islam? And I ain't talking about that other kind of love. Get your mind out the gutter. Raise your thoughts. Because that's going on out in the world too.
Yes, it is.
See, if you don't know who your forefathers were and what they brought to the planet, they could bring anything to you and you go for it. Right? Right now, your babies are under attack. They coming after your babies. See, y'all turn the blind eye to homosexuality, turn the blind eye to transgender. I'm about to make y'all feel really uncomfortable, so get ready.
Go ahead, man.
Right? We turn the blind eye to that because, oh, well, you know, as long as they do that over there, we get these excuses. We know what Allah said.
That's right.
We know what the ancient forefathers' law said. You think when we were in our highest conquering golden age era, that stuff was going on?
Nope.
What happened to Greece and Rome when they got involved in that stuff? It didn't work for them, but it's going to work for you? Islam? So again, with them making these same mistakes, they're dragging you right down with them because you don't have an identity of yourself. Right? See, around the room right here, these ones in here who know Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we're living our lives to preserve that legacy. Islam? Because this was a man that history had written out.
That's right.
You was not supposed to know about him. I give honors to my Moorish elders, Brother Fitzpatrick Bay. To see you with a fez on and that gray hair up under your phasma, I honor you. Because, no, thank you. Right? Because you made it possible for a brother like myself to even come in and pick up the banner because brothers like you kept the doors open.
That's right.
Right? So get up all right. I also want to give honor to my Supreme Grand Sheik, that brother right there, Brother Daweed Ali-El. This is the brother that saw enough in me at the time to trust me with Prophet Noble Drew Ali's chart. Right? And see, this is the thing. Let me address this too. Right? I know in the era of the internet and social media and all this type of stuff, we can go online and just type in Noble Drew Ali and read about him and think you know some things. Right? But masters have to be taught.
That's right.
Anybody that you consider to be a master sat at the feet of someone.
That's right.
Right? So to think you can circumvent that process because it's convenient is impossible.
That's right.
Islam? Prophet Noble Drew Ali. No Moorish American with sense is going to disagree with him because of what he brought, and it always bears out. Right? So being the case that he laid that foundation, let's look at him. Did Prophet Noble Drew Ali have to be taught? Did Prophet Noble Drew Ali did he go to the East? Right?
Yes.
And the elders have various different oral statements and tradition about what he did while he was in the East, but we know he traveled there. And when he came back with an enlightening message that this nation has never heard before. Islam?
Islam.
Where are our people going to go to know about their nationality and birthrights? Where are they going to go? Public school?
No, sir.
Where are they going to go? Clark Atlanta?
No.
Morehouse? And it's called Morehouse, right? They ain't learning nothing about the Moors. In fact, they had to pass a law to stop men from wearing purses in the house of the Moors. Islam? This movement Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought, he didn't just bring just an organization. He brought a movement.
Demonstration.
Many of us think that, when did our people receive the right to vote?
1965.
1965 via the what? The Voting Rights Act, correct?
Right.
That's what we think.
That's right.
Right? But you see these numbers I just showed you on the wall, Moorish Americans all together in unit? Prophet Noble Drew Ali organized us that way in order to cast a free national ballot at the poll.
Demonstrate, Sheik.
See, we were electing officials in 1928 when the average ones of our people couldn't vote. How?
That's right.
That alone should be a feat in itself worthy of research of who was this man. Islam?
Islam.
So to have a room of this size, right, with all these beautiful cultural focused people, right, who come in the name of love and unity, right, to not mention the concept of politics would be criminal. Right? Because my sister back there, Islam sister, I've seen this sister on Facebook all the time. She comes in our study groups and asks these thought-provoking questions that messes the sheiks up. We be quiet for like, you know, we like 2-3 days, and then we come back and answer. We have to huddle up and then come, you know. But the point is that the political sphere is where it's at, Moors. Right? Did y'all see the election that went on in Alabama?
Yes.
Like Roy Moore, how they shut him down and all that?
Yes.
It was because the Asiatic vote that did that, right? But we did that because Roy Moore was just a polarizing figure. Islam? Right? We really wasn't hip to the political scheme. We just didn't like him.
Right.
But what if we were that way with the, you know, Board of Education? You know, I've been in Georgia for the longest he's been alive, 21 years. And Georgia's always vied for 48, 49, or 50 in the country in education. Always. And during the time that I've been here, right? And why is that? Because we don't take our place in the affairs of men and women. We like the complain game.
Right.
They ain't teaching my children nothing. I'm gonna go up to that school, give that teacher. The teacher ain't the one you need to argue with.
That's right.
She's not writing no curriculums.
That's right.
The curriculum is coming down to her. This is what you teach. And in fact, if they go off of that, they get fired. My daughter's history teacher was like that. He went off and started teaching the Egyptian culture. They got rid of him. That ain't what the state test was on the state test. Islam? But we don't go to PTA meetings. We don't go to Board of Education meetings. We don't go to city council meetings. Right? What district is this? Anybody know? All these Asiatics in this room, we don't even know what political district we're sitting in. And if you don't know that, all the millions and millions of dollars for services that you already paid for, somebody else gets that money. You think you didn't pay for it? How many people got some gas today? The tax dollars are embedded in the gas. Right? So you're paying anyway, so why not get the service? How many people would go to Kroger, shop, right? Put your stuff on the, you know, thank you, sister. Conveyor belt. Thank you, mother. I don't like the grocery store, that's why I don't like that. Put it on the conveyor belt, then walk out without your goods. That's what you do every time you don't claim your political power.
Demonstrate.
Good enough.
Islam and economic security and political power are one and the same. See, all this teaching of, I'm gonna talk about some foreign teachings. United States is a corporation.
Right.
We don't pay taxes. Voting doesn't matter. Those are slave teachings.
That's
Right? I'm gonna talk about a group of people. On Beaufort Highway, members of Temple number 19, y'all heard this one before, so. Beaufort Highway, for those who are not familiar, Beaufort Highway is the section of Atlanta where a portion of it is Mexican and the other portion is Korean. Right? Now, the interesting dynamic about that area is the fact that all the signs in that area are in Spanish and Korean.
That's right.
What does that mean strategically? Because I like more strategic thinkers. That means that they don't need your money.
That's right.
Because you can't read. Anybody read Korean in the room? Except Sister Jasmine. Sister Jasmine reads Japanese. Her excluded. How many people read Korean? I saw you back there. How many people read Korean? Right? Brother Gabriel could probably help us out. He speaks fluent Spanish. Okay? But they don't need your dollar. To the point where, you know how Marta keeps going up on prices? All right? And what do our people do? We complain about it. You go up to 50 cents. And what you do? Pay the 50 cents, get your butt on it. Beautiful Highway, they got tired of this. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put our dollars together. We're going to buy our own bus line. They got a fleet of all white buses. Beautiful. All the routes are in Spanish. You can get on it if you want to, but it ain't for you. It ain't for you. And you talked about those Mexican brothers and sisters. You slandered them when you found out they was 12 in a house. But didn't realize that the science was one family pays the rent a month and stacks for 11. You didn't want to talk about that. You want to slander them. Y'all can't get together for a family dinner without killing each other. Right? And not saying that 12 in a house don't have its problems. But we'll never see them. See, that's what nationality gives you. Nationality gives you class. Nationality gives you that coolness to know, nah, I'll never let nobody see me and my brother fall out. Islam teaches if I have a bowl of soup, what? half of it belongs to who? Or your sister.
That's right.
Right?
Sheik.
Ain't no something hoarding everything unto yourself, whether it's knowledge, whether it's wealth, right? We hoard knowledge because we want to be deep and subjugate other people to what we know, right? But can you, when you're in the presence of others, empty yourself out and not act like you're the wisest person? So instead, a wise man can act like a fool, but a fool can't act like a wise man.
That's right.
See, all that proving what you know,
That's right.
right? One of my elders said, respectfully, that's actually what got the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey set up and deported in the prison. He was a Leo. You know anything about any Leos in the room?
Yeah.
Come on, Leo. All right, don't get shy now. Ain't no shy lions. Put your hand up. Right? The Lion King. Right? Them Leo, they're proud. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take it to the open, and this is my plan. You don't tell you. But see, we have the benefit of it. He made that sacrifice so we can learn not to do that.
There you go.
See, it's always a lesson being put forth, whether it's what to do or what not to do. And out of it, they call it sunnah, which is tradition. There's always a way and a method being taught, right? But this master that I'm talking about, no prophet, no Noble Ali, he gave us a body of order. He gave us a code called the A Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation, right? Everybody on the back of your program, look at that part up on the back of your program. Okay? That is the Moorish American Muslim code. That's the code we're bound to live by. There's a verse on there that says, if your brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
Demonstrate more.
Right? We teach our babies that this young man, my son, has learned that from when he was a child. Right? So no matter what he's caught up, doing in the world at 21, conquering, when the call goes out for more, she drops everything in. Islam? That's what these lessons for. The Noble Drew Ali said, dear parents, do not falsely use these lessons.
Demonstrate, Sheik.
So the prophet said, I brought you something that, you can't tear it up, but it can tear you up. Right? You look at ones that's calling themselves Moorish Americans in and out of prison, ain't no more got no business in and out of jail.
That's right.
Ain't no more got no business in a courtroom before a judge.
That's right.
Period. How is the maker of law and civilization in order anybody ever stood before a judge before? Ain't nothing empowering about standing in front of no judge who got your destiny in his hands. Marcus Garvey said stay out of the courts because every time you go, they're making a record of you so they can class you as undesirables and get rid of you. Islam? We've been visited by Homeland Security. I've spoken with them. They told me what they're after. It ain't Noble Drew Ali. They know who Noble Drew Ali is. We know who that man is. Right? But when it comes to that other mess, that's stealing, right? That gets something for nothing, and all of that. That's not Moorish. You hear people talking that ain't Noble Drew Ali. Those are the enemies of the prophet.
Demonstrate, Sheik.
Those are the ones that set the prophet up.
Demonstrate.
Those are the ones that made moves on his wife when he was on the road. Islam? And all of that happened. Those are the ones that set on the prophet when they set him up for the murder and he got out and they moved on his form. That's them. That's them same enemies. They in this room right now. It's something I usually say when I have a room this size. I didn't say, does any members from the federal government welcome? Just make sure you get my name right.
That's right.
Because I'm not going to quit. I'm going to do this till I give this form up. That's what I came here to do. Ask yourself, what did you come here to do? What are you spending your days and nights doing? Are you playing or have you committed yourself to something? Sisters, you know, brother, we had that commitment problem. We got that commitment problem. When you going to marry me? Look, tired of playing games now. You need to go ahead and put a ring on. She's right. Not just with the marriage, but with life. When we gonna stop playing with our children's destiny and actually set something up that they can inherit, an institution where they can come and learn about themselves and have a diverse room like this. This is not an organization where we're asking you to be this and nothing else, right? We don't have no problem being around Hebrew Israelites. Took my secretary, I got some vanguards there, Hebrew Israelite. That's right. But they just proclaim their nationality as Moorish American because they understand the history. That's right. Islam? All right? So learn that we've always had that diversity. And if you were taught right, you'd know that. But when people start dividing us along ideology, those are your enemies. You need to learn how to see and notice your enemies. Because if you can't peep who your enemies are, when you go to build something up, they're gonna be right there to destroy it. And they're not going to look like Europeans.
Like us.
See, he's at the point now in his devilment. Where he can throw a rock and hide his hand and you won't even see who came. And by the time you look back, it's a brother standing there. Right? Because the brother was like, watch out, boss. I want him to think I did.
Exactly.
Islam? Because the self-hate was programmed. Islam?
Islam.
So like I said, in a room like this, we have to get the political aspect. How many people right now, everybody signed in when they came in?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. Everybody left their phone numbers?
Yes, sir.
Email addresses? Yes. Let me ask you this. Now let's say we had a particular candidate we wanted to back. Could we call them to back that candidate? And not even just arbitrarily because we said so. Let's come in the room and debate it out. Right? Better yet, how about this? This is a better plan. Instead of just looking at, like, example, what's the Keisha Lance Bottoms? We give honor to our sister, right? She won. Give her a round of applause. Right? Now, I got you. Here's the thing. With regards to her winning, anybody know Keisha Lance Bottoms personally? Have her address, phone number, email address? Can you just pop up to her house and ask her a question? Okay. So if she doesn't do what you want, how can you hold her accountable? Respectfully.
Right.
Okay? Now the thing is that what you don't know is that in the political, when you get up into those levels of politics, there are allegiances, there are oaths, there are orders, there are sororities, there are fraternities, right? And there's a specific set of marching orders, right? They use a science that was known back in ancient Egypt known as sinzal, which is doublespeak.
There you go.
Which is, I tell the people this, but it means this. Noble Drew Ali spoke that fluently too. Because you can't pick his Koran up and think, well, one read, I know what he's talking about. No, you don't.
Tell the Sheik.
My spring grad, she taught me this morning, said that book says these are secret lessons. Right? And if there's a secret lesson, that means that they have to be taught. Islam? So you got to be groomed to go up in there and be loyal to your people. I got a book, right, that deals with the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, right? And they got all your little favorite politicians around Atlanta in there.
That's right.
Right? So you don't know what kind of oaths they took.
That's right.
You don't know if they're loyal to you or not. But how about this? How about if we took one of these babies right here, respectfully? That one that had an affinity towards public speaking.
Right.
Organization, very orderly child. While the other kids are running around tearing up, this one's orderly. Which might be reading. Right? You look, and the master's supposed to be able to look back and be like, that child's different.
That's right.
Who are the parents? Right? And get the parents together like, would you mind if we, we fund that child's political science education, right? And raise that child up to the point where we can run that child as our candidate because we know who they are. We know that child's whole pedigree. That's what other nations do. When the Mexicans run a candidate, they know that candidate from start to finish.
That's right.
We gotta stop backing people that we don't know just because they look like us.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Islam?
Islam.
That is Noble Drew Ali. That's not Heru Ranesi-El. That's Noble Drew Ali. Islam? That's what this movement is about. If you're in this movement for anything else, sorry, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
Islam? Don't come in here and seek to try to tear up the Prophet's movement because you got some people in the air that get their lives for Noble Drew Ali. Islam? We don't play with. That's our father. That's my daddy. Don't play with him. I didn't have no father growing up. That was my father. That was the one that taught me I needed to stop playing around and get married and make children the right way. Islam? That was the one that told me I needed to sacrifice. That was the one that told me I needed to wipe the sins of my brother off and not kill my brother. That was the man and master that taught me that. So anybody attacks that, you are my enemy. You will always be my enemy. And don't come in my face smiling and you betrayed the prophet. I know you've been out there slandering my prophet. This is his house, it ain't mine, but I'm a custodian of his house. So don't come in here with it. Islam? And if you about the real work, let's get some work done.
That's right.
We're not playing in here. These are men in here. And men are about action.
That's right.
Men don't do excuses.
That's right.
An elder taught me a long time ago. Results, not excuses.
That's right.
So I don't want to hear it. What, you got a headache? What, your back hurt?
Go ahead.
What, you just lost your job? So?
That's right.
We don't want to hear it. Can you breathe?
That's right.
Can you stand up?
That's right.
Can you think?
That's right.
Islam?
Islam.
I know brothers and sisters that don't have a home that have more integrity than people that live in big mansions.
That's right.
So stop playing. Don't come around me playing. Because ones that know me know I've been about this consistently. You see me 10, 15 years, Allah willing. I'll be on this same path. So don't bring it around me.
That's right.
You want to get some work done? Let's get some work done. I can smile and get all that. But I'm not in there hanging with my people just because you look like me.
That's right.
We're not about some work. I'm sorry, I don't have time. Please go play with somebody else. Islam? So again, I know that sounded like a harsh spirit, but love is rough.
That's it. Right.
Love is harsh.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody comes to you smiling and making you feel good, start your enemy. Trying to get something from you and ain't gonna give it back.
That's right.
Islam? So Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the thought of Allah manifested in flesh. He is an angel, which is the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh, because Moorish Americans don't believe in spooks.
That's right. That's right.
Noble Drew Ali was the first one to teach that there is no spook God.
That's right.
Ain't no spook God. He was teaching that in 1913.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? When that body of knowledge was being circulated amongst Europeans, but they wasn't giving it to us.
That's right.
Madame Blavatsky and Crowley and Gurdjieff and all of these occultists, they had the knowledge. They wasn't trying to teach you nothing.
That's right.
Right? But we love to go pick their literature up, bypass the ones that came to us,
right.
that looked like us,
right.
to honor foreigners.
That's right.
And as a result of that, wonder why we suffer. All right? So the Moorish Science of America was established by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali to be an institution of hallmark learning to teach nationality and birthright and divine creed. All right? We groom leaders. That's what we do. We form significant unity bonds. I give honors to my family from Muhammad's Mosque 15B. Who always treats us with hospitality and respect. Always. Ain't nobody gonna divide me from my family. I love Minister Stanley Muhammad, student minister Stanley Muhammad, his beautiful wife named Sister Ruth.
That's right.
No, I love that sister. Her name is in our lessons.
That's right.
What was watch this, y'all. What was Ruth's nationality? We got a lesson about Sister Ruth.
That's right.
Right? So Moors, again, you know, tonight I'm not the last speaker tonight. I got a brother coming behind me. This is the man that taught me. This is the man that gave Noble Drew Ali to me. All right? So be respectful, be attentive, and for those who, you know, wondered the legitimacy of Temple Number 19, right? Playing the grand body game, the different grand bodies, and you're not a part of this grand body, so I can't talk to you. Well, let's talk about, let me show you how we got our chart. Okay? 3 of the men that was in here when I went to the holy city of Mecca, to Chicago, to go through my particular trials, to get made as a sheik, are here right now. So if you got questions about how I became a sheik, they can answer them for you. Islam? We didn't just pop up as no temple in Atlanta and just start teaching. Right? We were given instructions and marching orders, and we haven't deviated since. We write books, we have literature back there. All the stuff that we talk about, the position of Noble Drew Ali, please, I want everybody, buy me out. Take all them books home with you. Right? I don't want nothing left. Because I want you to see that we're about industrious work.
Demonstration.
And that we want you to be thinkers. I'm not a preacher. We're not preachers. The only thing we preach about is economic security. Right? Because that's what our prophet said. Nothing needs to be preached about more. All right? But we author literature. This man right here, the chairman that's been moderating all night, this is the man that's doing the artwork. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You gonna tell me we were slaves? Look at this. That's right. That's that man. It's his job to play with some laugh. That's not my job. Right? But the point is that this is what we're about. We're about uplifting, because this is as much as a part of the nationality as everything else. People, let me ask you this real quick, and I'll yield the floor. This is a Moorish culture, right? Our culture is alive, true? What is a Moorish American food? Name it. See who it's coming from first? What'd you say, sisters?
Falafel.
What'd you say, civilization, humanity? What'd you say? Samosas, couscous, oatmeal. Yeah. Sister Tahira makes an oatmeal burger. We're gonna call it the Drew Ali oatmeal burger. Right? But the point is, if you're a living culture, your culture's alive, and you can point to different things from your culture. What's the Moorish American dance?
Belly dancing.
Moorish trot.
We're gonna reclaim y'all. Y'all think Temple 19 is a joke, man. Y'all think this is okay. First of all, I also want to give honors to the Magnolia Society. Islam, brother. Because when I came in and heard that, I felt like I walked through a portal in time. I felt like I walked straight into Morocco. I felt like I was walking across those hot burning sands. Thirsty in search of water. And when I put my foot in, my thirst was quenched. Right? And I could have sworn that when I walked past the bird, it said Islam. Islam! I'm going to get a picture with him before I leave. But that's East. And you're going to meet the West after we close the meeting now. We're going to move these chairs back, and I got some family up in here. They're quiet. And then, they're incognito right now, so you won't know who they are. We ain't going to out them. right? But I see you in the house family, right? But the point is, it's East meets West because our culture is just not Eastern.
That's right. That's right.
Not
This
just
is our stuff.
That's right.
Right here.
That's right.
You wasn't, all of us wasn't dragged here, right? This, you're in your own home. You just got to learn
Islam.
your ties to your home.
That's
We give
right.
honor to Noble
That's
Drew Ali because he taught us that too.
right.
All right? But with that,
Holy birth.
Prophet told us not to burden them more, so I don't want to burden you all because you have a speaker that can talk way longer than I can coming up. And I yield the floor to the master that taught me, right? To Noble Dawid Ali-El, but I'm going to yield it by way of our chairman, Rashid Ibn Halim Bey. I love you all with a perfect love. May you all stay on the path and foundation of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all the great masters who you are loyal to. Don't betray your master. Whoever your master is, stay loyal.
Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Because of that loyalty that we get where we gotta go.
That's
And with that, I leave you as I came in peace. Islam!
Islam.